Yo, 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 what is up? Hey, welcome back to Monday with Molly. So, today's topic is about the stuff that we are all going through, which I'll explain in a second. And also for you to know, again, no matter who you are, what your age is, whatever stuff you're going through, you are not alone. Now, when I'm talking about stuff, what do I mean? I'm talking about some of the challenges, the obstacles, the things that kind of stink and are unfair. Things that you have to deal with. Maybe maybe you have stuff that people put in your life that is painful, hurtful, not loving, but you have to deal with it. So it maybe not be your fault why the stuff is there. Other people did it, but it's there. So it is your responsibility on how you handle it. And if you're willing to flip your 20 to see that it is happening for you, not to you. That's a huge flip your 20 shift in mindset. And if you don't know what flip your 20 is, go back to the first video. It's explained in there. So let me give you some examples here. So I'll share my examples to make it, because I think in this day and age, we got to be more personal. We got to be more vulnerable. We just want to be real, because everything we see on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all that and Twitter, people are just showing their highlight reel. They're not showing their real. So I think, and I've learned, I know, and I've learned that when you keep it real, there's more understanding, there's more listening, there's more influence, there's more permission for other people to be real and vulnerable, which is the only way to get better and healthier and stronger and grow and to evolve. I would not have said that a few years back, but now I believe vulnerability is the way. And if my counselor hears me saying this, she might fall off her chair, because when I first went to counseling, I couldn't even say the word. Like seriously, I would almost get sick. So anyway, here's why. So my stuff, so I'm the youngest of 6 kids. There were 6 of us within 8 years of each other, so very young at the same time. And my parents got divorced when I was probably about 1 or so. We moved away from my dad. He was a few hours away. And we would do holidays with them, but he was never really a big part of my life. Certainly not an influential, positive impact kind of a person. And my mom was an alcoholic. So we were very young at the same time, and she would go out grocery shopping, and she'd come home and they were weren't groceries, or we were so young, we had to, at the same time, we had to learn how to keep ourselves kind of fed and cleaned, and kind of take care of ourselves. And my grandparents lived a block over, which was helpful because we knew we had someone to go to, but my grandparents were my mom's parents, and they did not like each other. So that's that might be a whole other video series, because then my mom and I end up repeating the cycle. So you gotta live and learn. Anyway, so she was drinking a lot. There's a lot of neglect and kind of abandonment. She just wasn't around taking care of us, and she was an addict. And so when I was 8 years old, she got remarried to this guy who ended up being this abusive, just pig. And it was shortly after they got married, and we're all sitting down at dinner, and I was 8, my oldest brother was 16. He came home from work, and he asked if he could eat dinner at my grandparents' house, and of course she said no. He got mad. He called her a name he should not have called her. Well, after he called her this name, her new husband, and again, this is maybe a couple weeks, months into their marriage, and I can picture sitting at the dinner table right now, and I can picture what it looked like. And he got up and started chasing my brother through the house, and they got into a fight, and he almost choked my oldest brother to death on the stairs. And my brother left that day. He went to live with my grandparents, never came back, so that caused even more of a rift. And I remember at 8, we gotta go back to the first video about what your 20 cent is and flipping your 20, because I'm gonna ask you throughout probably a lot of these videos to connect your dots as to why you believe what you believe about yourself, which I asked you in the first video. Why do you believe what you believe about yourself? Because when you start to connect your dots to the why, especially if those beliefs are negative or holding you back or not helping you live the best version of yourself or always moving forward, if you're playing small or holding back or whatever the case is, you got to connect the dots to be aware, and then you can work on improving and changing. The awareness is key. So here's where my dots start to connect. Is at 8, I realized, oh my gosh, I better be perfect. Because what I saw after the fight, and he left, my mom chose to stay with this man, so now I got this abusive guy in the house. And I'm like, well, I better be perfect, because if I'm not, this is what happens. Whether you're going to get hit or... And he never hit me. I will just say that, put that up there. But as 8, I'm like, what the heck? So I'm like, well, I better be perfect so I don't get hit, get in trouble, whatever. And then what they did was they were very clever in that the scuff marks from the fight, they left on the wall going upstairs. It was peach paint. I can see it. And every time we walk up and down the stairs, we would see the scuff marks from the fight. So it was almost a tangible it's not almost. It was a tangible reminder, this is what happens. So my 20 cents started to become, I better be perfect, better be perfect. And as a good perfectionist, as a textbook perfectionist, whose life is crazy at home and chaotic, I would need to get control somehow. So in 9th grade, I developed an eating disorder. And I mean, it's textbook, like just textbook. So fortunately, I got help early enough that it didn't get too far out of control. But that perfectionism lived with me for a long time, and affected everything I did probably for a few decades after that. And so anyway, as school went on, it got to be my 10th grade year, and I was just getting very angry and bitter. Like, this didn't feel like my life, and there was not really a lot of love at home, and I was just a pissed off kid. Because I'm this great athlete, good student, and I come home, it's just this disaster. And I didn't even call it home, I just called it the structure. To me, it was just like brick and mortar and not really a lot of love there. And I was a snotty kid. I was great at school. I'm not going to lie to you. I will be straight up honest with you. And you know this, whether you're a teen now or when you were a teen, you come home and you got an attitude, right? So that was me. But I wasn't into crime or drugs or anything. I was just an angry kid. And so it got to be my 10th grade year, and I finally was like so angry, and I just was like, I'm either going to hurt myself or hurt someone else. So I finally decided to make a decision, and I decided to run away from home. So I'm literally and technically a runaway. And after I ran away, my mom's structure was about 1.3 miles from my school, and I share that because never once did she come and get me. She couldn't drive the 1.3 miles to come and get me. Connect the dots. Wow, I must really be a piece of garbage. My own mom doesn't want me, and I'm like this really good kid at school. Again, snot at home, but like a good, smart human. Again, connect your dots. Why do you believe what you believe about yourself? And when is now a good time to change the meaning that you've given those dots, right? So it wasn't that I wasn't lovable or good enough. She was an addict and going through her stuff, and I was the unfortunate target. It sucked, but that's the reality. It wasn't that I wasn't lovable. But here's the thing: when you believe if you're 20 cents, what you believe is what you get. If you believe it, it's true. Then after I ran away, couch surf for a little bit, stay with a friend and her mom for a while, and then finally found somewhere to live long term. And was with someone in my community who I trusted and respected, someone who felt like a parent figure to me. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, thank God. Like everything is going to change. Like forget the stuff. Like I'm ready to move forward. There's an athlete in me like, let's move forward. And I was thinking I was going to have a roof and clothes and food. Like everything is going to change. And man, I was right on that. Everything changed. Because the moment I moved in with that person, that's when the abuse began. And if you've read my book, you've heard my presentation, you know my story, this person molested me. More times than I can count. And I trusted this person more than anyone in the world. We all have stuff. And we have to connect the dots. This is one other example of, wow, I must really be a piece of crap and be unlovable and a piece of garbage. Like this person I trusted literally is destroying me, like destroying my soul and anything good I thought about myself. But I still had to show up at school and be smart and athletic. It was really trippy. Now, here's where what you believe is what you get is super important. So dial in right now. Was it ever true for a second that I wasn't lovable or good enough or any of that? Was it ever true? No. Like never. But the power of your 20 cent and your perspective and what you believe is what you get, I believed it for the next 20 years. It was never true. But I gave it so much meaning and power, and I never talked about my stuff for 20 years, that I believed I was a piece of garbage and not lovable. And I didn't trust anyone for 20 years. I mean, it took me a long time to even come to terms with what had happened. So, and I'm sharing this so you know a couple things. One, whatever your stuff is, you are not alone. Literally every human of every age has stuff. And the more you are vulnerable with people who have earned the right to hear your story, and again, I've done the counseling so I can share this publicly. But let me tell you, when I first wrote about it in my book, which I think only my counselor and maybe one other person at the time knew, but when I put it in the book and I knew people were going to read this, I was like, what have I done? I can't believe I put my story out there. I actually started to get a bald spot in my hair and my head, and I don't even care about my hair. I did kind of do it nice for you today. But I even started to get a bald spot from the stress, like, why am I putting this out there? But the moment I did, a weight was lifted, and it's also given so many people, teens and adults, permission for them to own their stuff and to know that they're not alone and to go to counseling or do the work. So whatever your stuff is, you're not alone. You're not unique because you have stuff, no matter what your stuff is. I don't say that to diminish it. It's just the reality. So it gives you permission and some safety to know you can talk to someone, a trusted, caring adult, or, if you're an adult, your spouse or a counselor or partner, whatever, to talk about it, to heal and move forward. Literally everybody has stuff. You are not alone. That's important for you to know. It's also important that you connect your dots as to why you believe what you believe, and if it's holding you back, to start to change the meaning and the power that you've given to that belief and start to create a new one. I believe for 20 plus years I was a piece of garbage. I no longer believe that. It took a lot of hard work because I was older and older and older. But now, absolutely, I believe I'm good enough, I'm amazing, I'm lovable, I'm loving. I'd rather get that point now as a 45-year-old than never get there. So whatever age you are right now hearing this, start to connect your dots and do the work. You are not alone. All right, thank you for joining me today. I will see you next week for Monday with Molly. I'll see you Friday for Flip Your 20 Fridays, right here, same channel. As always, YouTube people, they're like, subscribe. So subscribe. And if you want to submit a question for Flip Your 20 Friday, you can email me, info@mollykennedyspeaks.com. You can DM me at flipyour20_. If you want it to be anonymous, if you don't care if it's anonymous or not, you can post somewhere on this page and I'll see it. And all subscribers will be in the running to have their question answered personally from me for Flip Your 20 Friday. All right, I will see you soon. Flip Your 20. Peace.